kind of kicking things off at a high level, quick reminder of the layout, the format, the blueprint for the Core 2 exam. Very similar to Core 1. It's a 4-hour exam. It's designed 3 hours for multiple choice, 1 hour for the case. And the multiple choice or the objective format questions, there's 75 multiple choice questions that make up that portion of the exam. Uh, Unlike Core 1, the weighting of the topic areas, little bit different than what you're familiar with from Core 1. Quick aside, these weightings are more specific to the multiple choice questions than they are to the case questions. So in Core 1, where you saw the vast majority of the multiple choice questions were very much focused on financial reporting, Core 2, there's very little financial reporting. 0 to 10% of the questions deal with financial reporting issues. There is some, and that's because the different areas of accounting overlap. They interact, they connect with each other. You can't really look at management accounting or financial reporting without having some impact on the other. 10 to 30% strategy and governance, 15 to 20% finance, and you see where the bulk of the weighting in the exam is. 50 to 70% of the exam is management accounting. That kind of transitions into the case questions as well. A typical case in Core 2 is heavily weighted towards management accounting, and one or two other of those areas added in as assessment opportunities. And Aaron will talk a little bit more about the case in a few moments here. In a lot of ways, the Core 2 exam is very similar to the Core 1 exam in the sense of the structure, format, the overall process. Uh, Even just think about what I just went through. Same number of multiple choice questions, same length of time for the case. Uh, you you come to the exam center, you sign in, you get your laptop, you get your calculator. It's the same exam software. So right away, hopefully, that reduces a little bit of the stress, that takes away a little bit of the worry. You've been there before, you've done this before, and they're not going to throw something completely new at you. Well, you know what? Here's this other piece of software that you didn't know about. It's very, very familiar to you. Uh, Question that I often get asked as a session leader is, will the Excel spreadsheet do pick your favorite formula? That's what people are asking about. So yes, any formula you need, any tool that you need in Excel or in the Word emulator of the software, you have what you need to do the exam. Um, it'll do present values, it'll do discounted cash flows, it'll do uh, a wide range of Excel formulas. I actually had the opportunity last summer to use the exam software myself. We did a mock CFE to test out the software and make sure there were no bugs or glitches, or at the very least identify some of those bugs. I tried everything I could think of. I actually even found some formulas in Excel I didn't know existed until last summer. Point of all this being, you have every possible formula you could ever need to do the exam. Some of the more advanced functions, for example, the Word software will not do mail merge, but you don't need to do mail merge in the exam. So if you don't have it, odds are pretty good you don't need it. Um, One thing that I do find very similar between the two exams is the ability to get lost, to start spinning your wheels. Uh, I can't speak for the rest of the regions that people are joining us from, but last week in Calgary, we had a big dump of snow, and you see a lot of people sitting at a green light spinning their tires. Very easy to start doing that in the exam. Core 1, it's easy to get lost in the handbook or lost in NOTIA trying to find just the right section, just the right reference. I find it's very easy in Core 2 getting bogged down in the calculations. Oh, I got to get it. I got to make sure I include that or make sure I leave that out. Or so one other similarity between the two exams, the importance of managing your time. I can't remember. Should I include this or not? Pick one, move on. And we'll talk a little bit more about done versus perfect a little bit later on. There are some significant differences between the two exams. Core 1, you spend a lot of time looking things up in NOTIA, looking things up in the handbook, the auditing standards, the tax act, whereas Core 2 tends to be more focused on all the different calculations. Core 1, you're applying the accounting rules. ASPE 3400 says, bing, 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 that's it. Core 2, there's so many calculations. Which one do I choose? Excuse me, which is the right calculation for this particular situation? So it's recognizing what calculation you need to do in which scenario. Uh, One of the biggest differences, of course, is the nature of the two subjects. Financial reporting tends to be very structured, very rule-based. If this, then that. Management accounting, a lot more wide open, a lot more flexible. You have some choices in some situations, and there's multiple different ways to approach some of these calculations. So I always find it interesting. Different people like the different areas for those very reasons. Some people like the structure of financial reporting. Some people prefer the creativity or the flexibility of management accounting. Regardless which one you love or which one you hate, as accountants, we need to understand both of them because of that integration between the two areas, not to mention audit and tax. One thing to bear in mind with Core 1, there's very much have you applied the standard correctly? And we all know there's some flexibility, there's some professional judgment involved in the standards. Core 2, where a lot of the emphasis is, does your recommendation make sense? So it's not always about getting the perfect calculation. It's getting enough of a calculation that you're able to say, I recommend you do this. And if that recommendation makes sense, that is what they're looking for in your response. Does your work flow logically? Does your recommendation flow logically? And we'll talk a little bit more in a bit. You can make some small errors in your calculations and still be competent in your response, provided it's a logical, methodical approach and your recommendation makes sense.